Right, hello once again. Okay, basically this video is going to be quite a short video. It's on the electrics and the battery unit that we actually have, and because this van is only for, you know, a couple of nights at a time, maybe longer, I don't know, depends. Basically we don't need some kind of extreme battery solution. You know, my mum just wants something so she can charge her phone up, maybe an iPad, laptop, and obviously power some lights so it's not just dark in here. So let's have a little talk about the battery pack that we're actually going to use, and then we'll have a look at the lights and stuff like that. Okay, so here we are in the van, and as you can see we have our light holes up there, but we'll get to that in a second. I'm actually kind of time traveling with this video because although this is part 6, I have already started building the bed. So the bed videos are coming after this one, but yeah, I guess this is part 6. I don't want to talk about the bed. Anyway, so let's talk about the power. Now, because this is just a day van or 2-day van, a weekend van, whatever, you know, basically reliant on having to charge or refill or use toilets at people's houses, or I don't know, whatever, going in a bush. The power needs aren't dramatic. Like, they're not, you know, needing 1,000-watt power, trickle charge systems and all this kind of stuff. So this is a basic build, so before anyone starts going mad that it's so simple. But the first thing that we need is a battery pack, and I did decide ages ago I was going to get a trickle charge battery set up, a leisure battery set up that trickle charged off the actual van battery itself, but I just sort of, the way technology is now, and for the needs of the van, I don't feel there's a need for that, like, especially with what my mum requires. So the first thing that we've got is a power unit. Let's flick the camera around, and this is a Bowden's portable power generator. And okay, let's have a little look at this thing. Yeah, okay, so here it is. It's nice and portable, so my mum can actually manage it. And I think this is 150 watts. And I tried it the other day. I literally had my phone on charge for about 8 hours, and it didn't even go down 1 bar. So this is going to be absolutely ample. And the great thing about this is it's portable. Let's put it on its side. You basically can actually put in a 240 120 power adapter. So you know, if you, whatever you're going to use, you can plug your laptop power supply into there, and you can power off your laptop. So all we do is actually turn this on, and suddenly we have our power indicator, 12 volts. We have a light for, so you can actually carry it around like a torch if you're in a campsite or stuff, which is quite handy. We have 3 USB sockets. The top one is actually the most powerful, the powering iPads, fast charge, and basically we have 2 outputs and an input. And the input, basically you can actually use that for plugging in solar panels, or as we actually discussed earlier in a video, if you notice there, we removed the 12 volt charger and put it over there. So that was quite a great thing to actually already have in there, because what the 12 volt charger allows us to do is plug in to the input whilst driving, and this will trickle charge off the actual battery. So it acts like an actual trickle charge leisure battery. And I've already tested all this stuff out. This does not use any of the actual van battery when the ignition is off, which is brilliant. Yeah, like I was saying, like, you can buy solar panels that you can just pull out, like portable solar panels, and then you stick them out when you're parked up somewhere, stick them out in the sun, and then charge this up even more. But that kind of charging isn't as good as trickle charging. So what we're going to do is quickly demonstrate something that's going to be quite cool for this van. Now, we moved the cigarette lighter from over there and fed the wiring up through here and down there, and then moved the actual plate I don't know why that's moved. I need to fix that. So I'm going to build a unit here with a worktop, and in this worktop there's going to be a shelf system, and on the top there's going to be a way of fixing this into the side so you have access to all the controls, and not on the top, otherwise you'll spill a drink in it. And basically how we can trickle charge, as soon as you come into the van, you can plug in your cigarette lighter, and that's what they're traditionally called. And obviously this is now too short to demonstrate, which is brilliant, but that plugs straight into this input. And whilst you're driving, the car engine will trickle charge this actual battery, and it, you know, so you don't actually have to be reliant on having to go inside a house and charge it up. Because obviously if you're in a house, you use the input here as well with a wall wart or a wall socket. And basically the great thing about this is that when you're actually static and you've turned your engine off, you don't even have to unplug this because it's separate from the actual engine. So this will not drain the van battery, which is kind of essential. I've tested it already. Like, you can't have this if you left it plugged in. My biggest fear would be my mum leaves it plugged in and drains the car battery, because it would happen. Like, everyone would do that. But anyway, that's basically the idea of this, and it's really simple, you know. So let's have a quick chat about the lights and how they will work. Okay, so we've got a switch wired in. It's a really basic switch. It's obviously a touchscreen switch, and from this switch we have power coming from this cable here. And this is rough at the minute, like that's hence why this video, we're going to actually replace this with something better. This cable here goes into an output 12 volts. So when you actually plug in, like when you get into the van for the first time, you would plug your trickle charge lead into the input, and then you would plug your lighting cable into an output. And when I do that, you can hear the switch beep, right? I'm going to do it. So that's showing there's power going to it. Unfortunately, well, there are no lights yet, are there? So off of here, and you're just going to have to trust me with this, we have a positive and negative running up here and going to our first light, essentially. And this makes a series circuit going to that light, 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 and then it completes the series by actually reconnecting here. And we've put chocker blocks on the end so they're safe, and cut the holes and pulled these through. And basically I'm going to use these. These are specific lights for boats and vans and camper vans and stuff like that. I chose these because they actually are really low wattage. All 6 lights combined is 10 watts of power, and by far bright enough for this van. And these simply connect, which we'll film, positive to negative, and that's it. I'm sorry that I didn't film actually wiring up the switch, like it was just a hectic day and stuff like that, but honestly it's so simple. You basically take the positive and negative from this cable here, it goes into a positive and negative on here, and then there's like an input, and then there's 2 outputs, and those are what's running up to the lights in parallel. We're dealing with such low power here, you could, you know, you touch it and just go, just does nothing. I mean, if you put it on your front teeth, then maybe that might give you a little bit of an exciting shock, but don't do that. A little disclaimer. But yeah, so that's basically all that's happening with electrics for now. So we've got lighting. Oh, let's just talk about the switch. Okay, so the switch, as I just said, is a touch screen. Well, it's not a touch screen, it's a touch switch. You've got a power on, you've got a dimmer, and you can run your finger around it and actually it dims. It actually is a little posh thing. But obviously there's going to be a worktop here, so I'm going to probably put tiles around here and maybe a bit of carpet. I haven't quite finalised that yet, but either way, it's not going to just be on bare plywood. So you've just got to imagine this for a little bit. I guess that's all I've got to say about that, as Forrest Gump would say. Next thing we're going to do is literally just wire these lights in, and then we can actually test it, plug it into the power pack, and I guess I could demonstrate it off the trickle charger and stuff, you know, like when the engine's running, and then turn it off, and it shows you it doesn't actually use any power, which is kind of useful. But that's as simple as it is just for this. You know, as I said, for a different van build, if this was like some Sprinter or Ford high top extra long wheelbase, I'd probably have about 8 batteries. I'd have 10,000 watts of solar power, 300 computers. I'd have Hans Zimmer's recording studio in my van. Right, so let's actually wire up these lights now, and I have enlisted a friend of mine, Invisible Dave, and he is going to wire them up. This is Invisible Dave. Say hello.
Hello.
Right, so basically he's just simply wiring the positive and negative to each of these chocker blocks. Obviously negative is black, positive is red. Very basic stuff. Last one being wired in. It's a very exciting moment to actually see the lights actually at least work. Something I should actually say about this is that the day right now is absolutely baking hot, and inside this van is just so cool in temperature, and it's testament to the insulation working. Like, you know, it keeps the van cool in summer and keeps it warm in the winter, so the insulation's doing its job. It's amazing. So here we are, the lights, they're wired in. Let's actually have a little look and walk round to the switch. Okay, I'm excited about this. I'm also really excited about the temperature in this van. It is cool in here, like it's amazing. Literally you walk outside and it is sweltering. Anyway, not to digress, let's have a little look at this. So we have all 6 wired in. We're going to tape these up as well in a minute, but and we have power. Obviously you can't see how bright they are right now because it is daylight, but we have a dimmer. We can actually just press the M, or you can run your finger on the actual dimmer. It's hard to do with my holding the phone. And then obviously the obligatory fire alarm. Sorry, I'm not even aiming on the light, am I? This is a touch dimmer, and then to turn it off, you just press that. Cooking on gas. And also for days like this, that is rather nice. So the next step, we're going to, let me turn this around. We're going to tape these up just so they're actually tight and they don't pull out. And then basically I've got to screw these in, and to screw these in, it's absolutely imperative to pilot hole the actual holes. Now I'm going to try and hold the camera. Basically these front plates pull off. Okay, so I've just pulled this off, and you can see the 3 screw holes, the circular holes, and I'm going to line those up. I'm going to draw with a pencil where they are, and then I'm going to do very small pilot holes, and then I'm going to screw them in so they're actually fixed. And then that's that. Basically the lights are in. Right, okay, so what we're going to do for extra security is fold it up as just shown, and then we're going to put a cable tie round the top, and this is just for added security, so these cables won't, you know, hopefully pull out and stuff when the van's driving and all that kind of shit. And as you can see, that is tight, and then cut the excess off for a bit of professionalism here. Right, then we're going to do the rest of them. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see there, close up, left a bit of slack here, so it actually isn't going to pull, and then it's cable tied there, and then that's actually going to be kosher, as Invisible Dave has just said. Right. Okay, so now these are cable tied. So an extra little bit of added security. We're going to actually tape them as well. This way, well, hopefully we never have to actually do this again. Something to bear in mind about this, you don't want to be taping this up if it's high voltage. Basically the complete wattage on this is 10 watts, which is, you know, not a lot. You can put your fingers on it.
Do it like this. You don't want to do it like this.
You need to be a bit more hardcore if you're going to be using mains.
Don't do this in your house.
Don't do it. Right, all 6 have been screwed in. Let's flick the camera. Whoa! All 6 are working. Oh, and I shall come in here later tonight and show them when it is night time. Until then, have a coffee. Right, after I've just been savaging the garden for the Isle of Wight Festival, decided to video that. That's another story altogether. However, I'm very excited to check out the lights. It is now 20 to 10. Should we see how bright they are? Ooh. Oh yes. Okay. Here we go. Oh my God. Look at that. That is just magnificent. Oh, it gets brighter. Oh my God. Okay, so that's the dimmest. That is the dimmest. And that is the brightest. These are going to do the job, I think. Oh God, I'm stoked about this. They've come out amazingly. That is just absolutely great. And the fact that you can actually dim it. Oh, it's for a bit of mood lighting. Well, that's that then. I think that that has gone exceptionally well. And well, I guess see you on the next.